Hello and welcome to yo-tas Kitchen. Thank you for joining me again. Today I'm going to be making apple pie. If you have seen any of my other videos prior to this one, you saw that I made some pie dough. And one of the things that I had scheduled is to make apple pie. With the holidays coming up, or anytime you can actually make this, I am making my apple pie. And I want to go over the ingredients with you. Okay, so here are the ingredients for my apple pie. As you can tell, I have several different types of apples. I went apple picking at an orchard nearby, and I bought this humongous bag of apples, and I went picking myself. Now, by the time I got there, the end of October, a lot of the apples that I could reach were gone, so it was a struggle to try to fill that bag with apples that I could actually reach and pick off the tree. But then I also have some Empire. Now, whatever apples you use, make sure that they're baking apples, whether they're Empire or Granny Smith or some other apple that you like. And what I want is 6 cups. Now, if I cut all these up, slice them up, and I find that there's a little more than 6 cups, I'm still going to add it. I'm not going to get rid of it. So to that I have 2/3 of sugar. I have a half a teaspoon of salt. I have 2 tablespoons of flour. I have a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of clove, and I have 3 tablespoons of butter that I'm going to dot. So I will be back once I have finished peeling, coring, and slicing the apples. And basically all I'm going to show you after that is how to put it in a pie pan, or how everything looks as I add it to the pie pan. I'll be back shortly. We are going to continue making our pie dough. Now, I had let this pie dough stay in the refrigerator overnight, and I'm ready to divide it and roll it out, and let's see how it goes. If you can see in here, you can see all the little fat deposits that are from the shortening. Now I'm just going to divide it into 4 equal, or as equal as I can get it, pieces. And then I'm just going to put it to the side. So here's the one piece of the pie dough. And all I'm going to do is just gently bring it down. But before I go any further, let's get a little flour down so it doesn't stick to the dough, so that my rolling pin doesn't stick to the dough and the dough doesn't stick to the board. Turn your dough over, and it's sticking, as you can tell. And again, roll from the center out, not going all the way to the end, and then center back. And I am going to clean this little bit off because my dough stuck a little bit. Okay, center out, center back. If it does break on you, just pinch it back together. Add a little more flour. Center forward, center back. And add a little bit as you need as you go. Okay, so I rolled my pie dough out, and a little piece broke, so I'm just putting it in. I am measuring my pie tin over. So as you can see, I have a little bit of an overlap all around the pie pan, and this is perfect. Now, the pie pan that I'm using is a disposable one. I'm sure that you can reuse it as long as you don't cut through it. And excuse my my fingers, I have grease on them from the shortening. And I am just going to gently roll my pie dough there. Wonderful. Look at that. Now it is breaking apart on the edges, but that's okay. And if you, I don't know if you can tell, but a little piece broke off, so I'm gonna patch it up. Because nobody, once the apples are in here, nobody's gonna be able to tell that I had to patch that section up. Okay, so I am going to cut a little bit around the edges off. Now I'm not going to go to the rim like I did with my other ones. I'm going to leave a little bit of an overlap. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I get the top portion done and I have my apples in there, I want to be able to seal it. And if I come too close to the pan, I won't be able to do that. Now these pie tins are disposable, and I purposefully bought them because I figured, you know what, I can freeze them. I can, you know, let's say nobody eats any. I can just take it, put it in the freezer, and I don't have to worry about glass being put in there because it's a little difficult to freeze an apple pie or even a pumpkin pie or any other pie. For example, if it's baked in a glass pie pan. So just want to cut the rest off. And like I said, I don't mind that it's overlapping a little bit, because once I get the top layer of the pie dough done, then I can seal it. Okay, so let's get to the other section. Okay, I'm done. I'm not going to roll it out anymore, but I will get it onto the rolling pin and prepare it for topping my apple pie. I'll be back when I'm ready to do that. Okay, so I just finished cutting up all the apples, slicing them really nice, and I measured them and they total 7 cups. So 1 more cup than what I wanted. I already cut and peeled the apple. I decided that I was going to just put it in. So let me just go over the ingredients again, because I don't know if I did or not. So let's start off with the lemon juice. I have 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. I am going to just pour it over the apples, and then I am going to just mix it in really well. Now, why am I putting the lemon juice in first? Because I want the lemon juice to kind of adhere to each of the apples, or just about every apple in there. And then I am going to add our 2/3 cups of sugar. And again, I want to mix it up really well. Followed by the salt, and this is a 1/2 teaspoon. And the salt kind of brings out all the flavors. I don't have a lot of salt in there, but it will enhance every ingredient that I have in there. 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon, excuse me, yes, 1/4 of a teaspoon of clove, ground clove. And then I'm just going to give them a toss. Make sure that all of that is coated as best that it can be. And then I am going to add my flour. So the flour is basically 3 tablespoons of flour, or 1.5 ounces, however you measure. And then I'm gonna, again, give it a toss, just to make sure everything is coated. Now, because I have the lemon juice in there, it's gonna look like dough a little bit, but don't worry about that because all of it's going in the pie tin. Okay, I have it mixed, so now I just want to put it into my pie tin. Now the flour is basically to absorb the liquids that are going to come out of the apple. Just want to make sure that I get it in there pretty good. Now these are going to, of course, cook down, so they're not going to be as high. We're going to even it out. Now don't mind my hands, because once we put this in the oven and it starts to cook down any germs that I might have on my hands, which my hands are clean, but humans have germs. So now I'm just going to put in my 3 tablespoons of cubed butter, and I am just going to lay them out here and there, just so as the apple pie is cooking, the butter is melting and it's going inside all those crevices and making our apple pie taste heavenly. Okay, so let's get some dishes out of the way. Let's wipe my hands off. And here we go. Ah, not perfect, but it's on there, and I will seal it up, but I have to trim that off too. Trim off whatever extra dough you have. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to taste good. Okay, so this side, it looks perfect, right? This side broke up a little bit. That's because it's soft. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to now make my design, and I am going to tuck that in. Seal it, and then tuck it in. It's still gonna, juices are still gonna flow no matter what I do. But seal the ends, get both sides together, tuck it in a little bit if it's overlapping, and then make your design. I'm not a factory, meaning that not everything that you're going to make is going to be factory perfect. As a chef, cook, you work towards perfection, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Okay. So there you have it. I'm going to take that same knife. Nothing fancy. This is not a fancy apple pie. It's going to be a perfect tasting apple pie, but not perfectly. I don't know if I put too much water in the end with the apple pie, with the dough, the pie dough, but it was breaking up on me. I don't know. I think that must have been it. So we're going to vent it a little bit. Just make little slits in it to let all the steam escape as it cooks, and then next time I can work on making it a little prettier. Isn't that wonderful? Doesn't that look great? It's going to cook beautifully and it's going to taste wonderful. So I'll be back in about 45 minutes. I'm going to put it in the oven at 375 for about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to check it at 45 minutes just to make sure that it's not burning or overcooking. I might even put a little foil around it to prevent the crust from burning, and then we'll take a look, see how it's going. 45 minutes from now, I'll take a look and I'll see you then. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to yo-tas Kitchen. So I had my apple pie in the oven and I baked it for a total of 1 hour. And the reason I did that is because I looked at it and it didn't have enough coloring for me. So I ended up not putting any foil around it like I said that I might do, because it didn't need it. It's not burned at all. It's perfect. It's like golden colored and it looks and smells incredible in here. So let's show it to you. It's too hot. I just took it out of the oven, so I am not going to be cutting it right now. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. And then once all my pies are done, I might just cut them all together and show them to you all together. So here we go. Doesn't that look incredible? Now this is a little hot, so I'm not going to touch it with my hand, but I'm going to turn it around. As you can see, it baked really nice. The smell of the spices and all of that together smells so incredible. I wish there was smell-o-vision because you would enjoy the smell that I'm smelling right now. So I will be back shortly to show you what a slice of apple pie looks like.